pretty much it's kind of like almost a family-owned business or whatever. So me and my wife or whatever, she's a visionary. I'm the guy who executes everything. My sister, who's kind of like my right-hand person, where she kind of helps me run the day-to-day operations. And I've been looking into like outsourcing some of the jobs, just because it's starting to get a little bit too much. You know what I mean? Like I feel like there's certain areas of the business where I can focus and hone in. The product offering is great, but you also have to have a good quality product too. But like advise like new sellers, really invest in your listing. So your photos, your infographics, your copywriting, that's all very important. Like you don't want to fork out like thousands and thousands of dollars in inventory and all these things that you're doing and take a shortcut on that aspect of the business. Mm-hmm. I think that played a major role. It developed like brand awareness and like our...
I trust that life will take me to a better place based on the action I've taken today. Trust the process. All right, what is going on, guys? We have a very special guest today, one of our students, David. David, you're doing what, like $182,000 a month? Is that the peak?
Yeah, we did that the peak for our Q4 season in the last 30 days or whatever. So it was pretty crazy to see. So yeah.
That's insane. And $182,000 USD, which is like over $200,000 Canadian. I mean, that is insane. When I saw the numbers, I'm just like blown away. I personally would love to, this call is as much for the students as it is for me, because I'm like, you're doing something right, and I want to know what you did and how you did it. But before we get into any of that, I just want to kind of backtrack and get you to share a little bit about your story of like, let's start with the childhood. Like, first of all, a quick intro, like where are you from? What's your name? What are you currently doing? And then let's go into the childhood story.
So for everybody here, whatever, my name is David Nguyen. I am currently a full-time Amazon FBA seller. I pretty much grew up in Malaysia. My parents escaped the Vietnam War and pretty much immigrated to war. They were at a refugee camp in Malaysia for 2 years, stationed there. Wow. And then they moved to Canada here or whatever. We lived in Alberta for a little bit, and then eventually moved to Vancouver.
Were you born in Canada or Malaysia?
I was born in Malaysia. I was 6 months. I was born in the refugee camp. So yeah.
Got it. So you don't remember much?
No, don't remember much. I literally came to Lethbridge, Alberta when I was like 6 months, literally.
Wow. In a way, it's kind of cool for you to, like, I don't know. Do you kind of wish that you remember what the refugee camps, the gruesome that you had to go through, or were you like, oh, thank God, I don't have to remember any of that?
I'm kind of like, thank God I don't have to remember any of that, just because hearing from my parents and like kind of like their stories of like the past and what it took them to get there or whatever. It's probably something that they don't want any child to experience or whatever, because it was really tough for them. Because I know during the war or whatever, like my dad tried to escape 2 times. So the first time he escaped to Malaysia, he got caught and he went to jail for 2 years. So he once he finished that sentence or whatever, we were able to escape. And it's a little small boat, and you can just imagine a little small wooden boat, and there's like 200 refugees on that boat. Wow. And literally, some people don't make it, right? So they literally got to Malaysia, and they were stationed off of a small little island there or whatever, Kuala Lumpur. I stayed there for 2 years or whatever, and then slowly immigrated to Canada. So yeah, that's how the journey began. So yeah.
Wow, that's incredible. So talk to us about life in Canada. I mean, you grew up in Lethbridge. That's a big city in Alberta, right?
I don't really remember much of it, but I remember my parents telling me, because they're first gen here, right? So for them, it was tough. I mean, like coming to a new place, not knowing any English whatsoever, working 3 jobs. At the same time, I'm the middle of 5 siblings.
Wow.
So 5 kids, you can just imagine. Like I only have 2 kids of my own, so I can only imagine like what they went through or whatever. So I mean, it was not easy for them growing up or whatever, but they made it work or whatever, and here we are today or whatever. So I'm really thankful for that or whatever. So and then eventually they moved to Vancouver here or whatever, and pretty much this is where our life began here. So yeah. Got it.
That's cool. So how old were you when you moved to Vancouver?
I was probably around 3 or 4 when we moved to Vancouver. So we stayed in Lethbridge, Alberta for like 2-3 years, if I'm not wrong. So yeah.
Got it. So what was childhood like for you? Was it, I would assume that, money may be a little bit harder to come by, like probably more family things. Like, do you remember much about your childhood growing up or?
Some of my happiest memories, to be honest with you, are from my childhood. Like we grew up, we weren't a really wealthy family. We grew up poor, but I mean, family was something that my parents emphasized a lot to a lot of
Mm.
us. Like our siblings, five kids, I'm the middle one out of them. We're all very like we're a really tight knit, close family or whatever. And honestly, man, it's as far as I remember, it was like some of the best childhood memories I've ever had or whatever. It was awesome growing up or whatever. I mean, my parents worked a lot, but they worked it so that we could have a better life, right? So
Yeah, yeah,
yeah,
totally.
so yeah, yeah,
I'm the only child, and I I'm very envious of anybody who have brothers and sisters, and a lot of people are very envious of me being the only child. They're like, "Oh my God, you must be spoiled," and this and that. I'm like, "Yeah, I mean, I wasn't spoiled. Like, it's not like I had to fight over some things, resources with a brother or sister, but
gotcha,
that's why I want to have like a bigger family. But my fiance, she's a little bit scared of having babies and whatever, so we gotta." There's got to be a middle line. There's got to be a middle
gotcha.
ground. I mean, my Tesla can seat up to 7 people, so
Having kids is a blessing. So yeah, I'm sure
yeah,
you'll have a couple. So yeah.
for sure. So talk to us about like I'm curious to know, were you kind of like a entrepreneurial kid? Did you have like a lemonade stand? Did you have all these different things, or were you more just like studious, or were you rebellious, or like what were you like in high school and college days?
So high school or whatever, like I grew up or whatever. I mean, I was like the social kid that kind of knew everybody.
Mm.
I was into sports, played a lot of basketball, played a lot of volleyball team sports, so I was like well known around the school and stuff like that. And then growing up into college or whatever, yeah, I was a college kid, but I never really finished college. I felt like
Mm.
I didn't have the entrepreneur spirit, that's for sure. It's something that kind of just grew into me or whatever after I finished. Actually, in the last couple of years, that's what grew into me or whatever. But yeah, I didn't finish college. I was bouncing around to different colleges. I didn't know what I wanted to do, to be honest with you, because I felt like after high school, like a lot of my friends and stuff, like they knew what they wanted to do. So after high school or whatever, like pretty much a lot of my friends, they all knew what they wanted to do in high school or whatever. I went to college not knowing what I wanted to do in college, and I bounced around a bit, in a sense where I only went to college, to be honest with you, just to kind of please my parents.
Yeah.
Because like after high school, it's like, well, what are you gonna do? We don't want you to work. Go to school. Like figure out what you want to do. But sometimes in life, like things don't work out, and like you don't know what you want to do. So like for like 2 3 years, like I was bouncing around to different colleges, not knowing what I wanted to do, and like I was paying for my own tuition too, right? So eventually, that didn't work out for me or whatever, and I said, you know what? I don't think school is right for me. So I got into the workforce, and pretty much worked my way up from there. So yeah.
So what did you do for work?
So when I first started or whatever, I found a company right by the airport there or whatever, and someone there or whatever, they worked in the logistics department for film plants here in Vancouver. And pretty much once I made that connection after that, Tom, like all of my other jobs was through her. She was a big part of like me getting into the film industry, handling a lot of the logistics for a lot of the big film plants here in Vancouver. I did that for a couple of years with her, and then she moved away, working at a different company. Then I went to work at Aritzia, handling their logistics for like 1 or 2 years. And then I got into the freight forwarding space to actually work for an actual freight forwarder. And then I bounced around to 2 3 different companies, handling all the movie clients here in Vancouver. So that's generally what I
Huh.
ended up doing. Yeah. So yeah.
It's gonna be it's a little bit of a it's a little bit of a sensitive question, but what was like the most that you made in a year working 9 to 5?
9 to 5, probably 90,000. I think it was.
90,000. Okay,
Yeah.
okay. So
Yeah.
that's pretty
90,000.
good.
Yeah, that is good. Like for me or
Yeah,
whatever, I was kind of happy with that or whatever. So yeah,
yeah.
I mean, yeah. So
So
yeah.
it seems like you were just kind of still bouncing around jobs. So well, and your wife, like, what does she do?
So my wife, when she got into this whole thing or whatever, she first started her job as she was a buyer for a company. So she flew down to LA and she would buy all these clothing for them for the season or whatever, and then
Mm.
they pretty much bring it back to their showroom here in Vancouver or whatever, and they'd sell it to a lot of their wholesale clients here in Vancouver. So that's what she did, and then eventually she worked on a lot of e-commerce companies as well or whatever. So yeah, that's how we got introduced into the space or whatever back in
Oh, interesting,
2017. Yeah.
interesting. So
Yeah.
what does she do for e-commerce businesses?
Right now, she works at a company who handles equestrian gear or whatever. So she's like one of like the client service advisors or whatever, handling clients there or whatever. So yeah, that's what she does right now or whatever. And they pretty much work off like the Shopify platform and stuff like that. So yeah.
Got it. Got it. That's
Yeah.
cool. That's cool. So talk to us about, so let's transition kind of into the Amazon journey now. So you said
Yeah.
you started in 2017?
No. So in 2017, my wife got into the business. She went out, she sourced products. And then she came up to me with the idea of like, hey, let's start an Amazon business. You know what I mean? And I brushed her off, being as comfortable as I am back then. Or I brushed her off. I said, no, why are we doing Amazon? We have good jobs, good careers or whatever. Why do you want to do this? And then she's like, you know what? I'm just gonna do it myself. So she ended up doing it herself. She sourced some products or whatever, which I think we still have somewhere in our house here. And she signed up for her Amazon Seller Central account or whatever, and then she didn't do anything with it. That was the end of it right there.
So were you like, guys, see, I told you so? Like,
yeah, in some ways, but
a little bit.
I didn't want to poke her too much because I know
she's
sad about it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But yeah.
So why? So I'm curious. So why? Why weren't you supported? Was it just the comfort, or like, yeah? Talk to us a little bit about the psychology of why you didn't want to do Amazon with her at that time.
So during that time or whatever, I felt like we were just getting our careers underway. I mean, we just bought a place. She had a good job, a good paying job as well. I had a good job, paying job as well. And I was really comfortable, you know what I mean? And like, I just didn't understand, like, she's always been the type of person who always wanted to, she has the entrepreneur spirit. She always wanted to be her own boss. She always wanted to do things herself or whatever. And yeah, I guess I was just a little too comfortable and I didn't support her then or whatever. And it's funny how things work out, like 3 years later. So.
Yes. Okay. So that's my next question. So you didn't support her. She didn't really start her Amazon FBA journey. So like, what happened?
So what eventually happened was I had kids, and then with my line of work or whatever, because I'm pretty much almost on a 24/7 call basis. Where it's if there's an emergency with something, I pretty much ran the whole logistics department with all our film plants here. I'm on call. So I ended up working a lot of hours. I had my first child or whatever. And yeah, I mean, like I was working like 12, 14, 15-hour days. After I got home from work, I'd be on my phone answering emails. Wow. It just really took a toll on me because I said, you know what, if this is what I'm going to live, like, I don't want to live my life like this because I want to spend time with my kids, you know what I mean? So I said eventually, I got to a point where I was like, hey, I got to find something else, you know what I mean? And when I thought of Amazon or whatever, it was kind of just like a side hustle. I wanted to do it as a side hustle and maybe if it took off or something, just branch into it. But yeah, COVID happened or whatever. And I decided, you know what, let's do this or whatever. So back in 2019, I saw your ad. I came across your ad near the end of the year. And my wife was like, hey, you want to do it? You know what? I said, okay, you know what, let's look into it. It's funny how that played out because one night I went to basketball. One of my friends or whatever took your course. So I overheard him like talking about, hey, I took the leap of faith. I'm doing Amazon FBA full time. I overheard his conversation with another friend or whatever. So I mustered up the courage, to ask him like, yay, like, who are you learning from? Like who's teaching you, and then he mentioned your name. It's funny because I came across your ad, right? Yeah. And then eventually we bought tickets to go to your event or whatever. You pretty much sold me there on the first night or whatever. And then I asked him, I'm like, hey, because you took his course, right? Is this guy legit? And he vouched for you. And then that's after, like, I didn't buy your course right on the spot, but the next day after, we're like, you know what, let's do it. Like, what's the worst that can happen? Right?
So you actually came to my live seminar at CBC?
Yeah, I did.
Nice. Those are the good old days, the pre-COVID days, where 200 people pack in the small room. And you know what's funny? So for those that don't know, like, so right now you probably saw all my ads online, but before I actually used to run ads in Vancouver. And what I do is I tell you to like come to this like studio. It's a what would you call it? It's a big room, right? And then I will go on stage and I would like, present the opportunity. And then at the end, it's like, hey, if you want to learn from me, I actually do a live class. It's like a live 2-day class at UBC, which is a school that I got kicked out of. So I rent out a classroom there and I teach people live. And what's funny is that, well, it's not really funny, it sucked. But that year, I got sick like 6 different times because every single person after the seminar will come up to me and we shake hands and they talk to me like this close. And there's like hundreds of people I see every other week. So I got sick like 6 times and I'm like, oh, what's going on with my immune system? But now looking back, it's just like people, spitting and saliva and germs on my hands. And that was pretty interesting. So okay, so that's super cool. I figured that you might have, because you're from Vancouver, so I figured there's
Yeah.
a good chance for you to actually attend the 2-day class.
Yeah.
And I love the fact that you said, you want to do something now because you have kids, right? Because
Yeah, for sure.
before you didn't really have like a why, and I feel like now you have that why. And I
Exactly.
feel like a lot of there's two different types of motivations, right? One is intrinsic, and the other one is extrinsic. In
Yeah.
many ways, I mean, your baby story is kind of both intrinsic and extrinsic. Whatever. Okay. Well, anyways, so but for me, like I always had this burden of like proving to my parents that, or proving to my friends that like I was, worthy and I gonna make a lot of money.
Hmm.
But I think it's so important for you to find out your motivation, for you to find
Hmm.
out your why. Like, why are you really trying to do this? Why are you really trying to start an Amazon business? Because without having that why,
Hmm.
it's the difference between the old David versus the new David. So if you don't have a
Yeah.
why, maybe I think a lesson that I learned from you is just go make a bunch of babies, and maybe that will motivate you a little bit. Hey.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, like once you have kids, I mean, like it's so funny because I feel like when you're younger, you want to buy the house, you want to have the cars, but once you have kids, your life your perspective of everything just changes. You know what I mean? Like your kids are so
Mm-hmm.
important to you, and you just want more time and freedom, to spend quality time with them. You know what I mean? So yeah, and that's my why for sure.
Cool. All right, man. So let's get into the meat of it. I want to know how the hell you went from zero. You're a negative Nancy, not. You're a negative Nancy saying don't do Amazon. Like we have a
Yeah.
stable job to like from zero without any experience. You didn't have any
Hmm.
business experience prior to this, right?
No, I didn't have any business experience prior to it, but I did have a bit of e-commerce experience before I hopped into the Amazon space. So yeah.
Cool. Okay. So let's talk about like how you went from zero to 100 and let's call it 200K, which is round up a little bit. So you finished
Yeah.
the class. Did your
Yeah.
wife come or was it just you?
No, my wife did come or whatever. So like we were actually your first virtual class in March of 20.
Oh, no way.
Yeah. So your first virtual class or whatever. So we did that. So we learned from home. So we were
Oh,
on
I
the
see.
call where you did like the 2 days or whatever.
Yeah, yeah,
So
yeah.
so yeah, pretty much we did that, and then
Due to
eventually,
it was
yep,
due to COVID, guys. Like that's
yeah.
literally when COVID happened, and then I was like, hey, we should probably migrate to online. So we did like an online course. Anyways, continue.
Yep. So that's when I got laid off from my job or whatever because the film industry, like the borders was closed for like 6, 7 months,
Mm,
so we couldn't do anything, right? So, I
wow.
mean, instead of like sitting there and being all sad about it, I had this opportunity. So we, we took the class or whatever, and pretty much within like I'd say 4 months, 4 months, we launched our first product on our first account.
Wow.
That product we learned a lot. There
It
was
sounds
lots of
it sounds like that product didn't do so well.
well, we're still doing it today, but it's phasing out or
Okay.
whatever because the market got really saturated, and it's a low ticket item. So,
Can you share what
yeah,
the product is?
yeah, like I'll gladly share with everybody. So that product was the disposable toilet seat covers when we first did it, and you can imagine during that time, COVID and travel was like restricted. So it's like we're like, oh no, you know what I mean? Like we didn't know how it was gonna do eventually, but it came blazing right out the gates. Like it did really, really well right out the gates or whatever. We ran out of stock probably we had like 2,500 units, I think it was. We ran out of stock within like 2.5 weeks. And
Wow.
yeah, like literally two and a half, three
Jesus.
weeks almost or whatever. And that gave
That's a
me
lot.
gave me a taste of the Amazon space. So yeah.
You're like, man, this is pretty easy. I should have started this back in 2017.
Yeah, and I kind of yeah.
What was that like? Tell us. I mean, you ordered 2,500 units. You ran out of stock in 3 weeks. So you were selling like 100 units a day, pretty
Yeah.
much.
Uh-huh.
Like what was that? Yeah, like okay. So let me backtrack.
Yeah.
How did you launch the product? How did you
Um,
actually launch it?
so pretty much we went with like your recommendations where we did Rank and Bank and we did PPC. But to be
Mm.
honest with you, like when I did Rank and Bake or whatever, nobody wanted free disposable toilet seat covers. You know what I mean? Like nobody wanted it. So like, okay. After like 2 days, I was like, okay, well, this is not gonna work or whatever. So I went with the PPC method or whatever. And
Hmm.
I actually have the friend who actually taught me or whatever. He was in this group. He kind of gave me some guidance on the PPC methods or whatever. And then I tried that, and that worked for me. And ever since then, I've been kind of doing that method ever since. So yeah.
Can you maybe share a little bit about what that method is? Like maybe you don't have to go like soup because PPC can get super granular, but like on a higher level, like how do you launch with PPC?
So nowadays or whatever, like I don't know if I'm allowed to say this or whatever. So like for me or whatever, and do this at your own risk or whatever. For me, I find 5 reviews from like
Family and
friends of
friends,
friends.
whatever.
Yeah.
Yep.
So I try not to do family and friends. I try to do friends of friends. So like I'm not like
Right.
linked to them, but I'll give them an incentive to kind of find 5 people for me in order to kind of help me get the reviews in the beginning, just to kind of boost it a little bit. But then my PPC campaigns will probably pretty much be like an automatic campaign, and I'll find like 5 keywords and I'll run it in broad phrase and exact.
Mm.
And before doing it, I'll run it in Helium 10 with my top 5 competitors or whatever, and then I'll look for the top 10 organic keywords that they're ranked for or whatever, and then I'll kind of select which keywords are like relevant to mine. But I'm
Mm.
always constantly always testing all the keywords. Like just imagine a huge list, and I'm going through every keyword. So I'll slowly take it step by step, whatever, and just go through every keyword. So it's been working for me. So yeah.
So you get 5 reviews first, and then you
Mhm.
start PPC, or you start PPC, and during that time you get those 5 reviews coming in, or
I start PPC, and then during that time I get 5 reviews, because I don't want to make it like all of a sudden, like, because I know like with the holiday, I mean the I don't know, is it the anniversary or the Amazon gives you like a certain bump for a certain amount of days when you first like list
right?
something or whatever, the honeymoon phase or
Right.
whatever, that's what it's called. So like
Hmm.
yeah, I'm running PPC, and then while I'm running PPC, I'm trying to get the first 5 reviews. So
Got
yeah,
it.
I'll space it
Was
out.
it
So yeah. Yeah.
with that product? How
Mhm.
much did you differentiate it a lot, or looking back, was it kind of like a Me Too product, or
I did differentiate it a bit, but eventually everybody caught on, because like I made it like a larger size, because a lot of people were complaining that it's like too small, it doesn't fit like their regular like American standard toilet seat. So I
right?
mean I did differentiate it, making it a little bit bigger or whatever, but and I made it thicker. But other than that, like
Bigger
eventually
and thicker.
bigger and thicker. But like
Yeah.
suppliers, like it's a low ticket item, everybody starts copying it, and yeah, yeah. So yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So you're phasing that product out as we speak right now. Like you're not going to reorder, or
Yeah, I'm facing that product out in the sense where I'm not going to reorder, just because like the supplier or whatever, like it's kind of like I put money into it, but it stays in there a little too long. So I have my other account where I'm trying to build a brand. So I'd rather take that money
mm,
and invest it into what's actually working and actually focus on that. So yeah,
got it. So let's
yeah,
talk about the second product then.
okay,
Is
yeah.
that is that the product that you're building a brand around now, or?
Yeah, so that product ended up being the product that I am building the brand around. So we ended up launching that product, I think, in end of September. And then that product, it was funny
Sorry,
because
September 2020.
yeah, September
Okay,
2020.
September 2020. Okay.
Yeah. So that product, when we were doing our product research and everything, the numbers looked really good. I got a lot of feedback from people who were telling me not to do it, because
Mm,
it was like, it was in the toy category. So, you could require a lot of certificates and everything like that.
mm,
And it was really competitive. But I mean, I went with my gut, just because it was a product that me and my wife, we play with our kids and stuff like that.
mm,
And they really enjoyed it. And we got a lot of really positive feedback based on our product offering. So I went ahead and I launched it.
mm.
And I remember like prior to launch, guys, like I was like, oh no, the numbers just tanked. I don't know if this is gonna do well. When I launched it, it just took off as well. Literally
Wow.
sold out in the first like maybe 4 weeks or whatever. So
Hmm. So I want to go back to something that's super, super important. Okay, so there's two ways to look at this, right? A lot of people look at Amazon as kind of just like viral launch, data, reviews. Like it's all just very numbers oriented. Like you're just looking at a spreadsheet and they're making like a calculation based on like whatever the number says, but you're not considering like the buyer's intent. Like on the other side of the computer screen, there's a person that's going to be buying the product. In this case, toys for kids. Parents are buying this product. You are a parent. You are playing with your kids, a lot of other parents are getting positive feedback, like that weighs something. That has its own weight. Don't just look at Amazon in terms of like, oh, the reviews got to be, 200 and 100 and, the number's got to be this and that. Okay, I'm going to launch this product. Like, think from, like, that's important. I'm not telling you to launch a product where like everybody on page one has like thousands and tens of thousands of reviews. That is important, but that's only one piece. The other piece of it is really the buyer psychology, right? Like, and also I love the fact that you launch a product where you have kids, so you're playing with these kids and you're getting feedback. Can you maybe talk a little bit about that? Like, do your kids really like it? Did you give it to your friends who have kids? Like, how did that process work?
So what we ended up doing was we got our family members and we got our kids to come around or whatever, and we didn't tell them about like the product idea. We just like, hey, let's do this activity with the kids. And while we were doing it, it was just like, it was such a fun activity just to bring the family together. The kids enjoyed it. And then I started giving it to some of my friends or whatever. And then, their kids enjoyed it. And everybody just like, I got really good feedback from it. And I said, you know what? Like, I don't think there's an offering, like there's other people selling it on the market, but they don't have the product offering that we have. And I feel like this is something that we could probably capitalize on. And that's when I went with my gut instinct and said, you know what? I'm just going to launch it.
I love it, man. I love it. I guys, like, can we before you launch a product, can you do one thing? Can you give this product to the users of the product and get some feedback? Can every single person, like, if there's one thing that we can take away from this call, would be that, like, give your product. So if your product is dog food, give it to people who have dogs and get their feedback, because they're gonna tell you, like, is this a good product? Is this a bad product? So this is key. This is like gold. Because without that, maybe you just would have never launched it. You're like, oh, the numbers don't look so great, and then I'm not going to launch it. And then, boom, you miss out on an amazing opportunity. So let's talk a little bit about, okay, so how many did you order for your first batch?
So for that product, I think the first one we ordered was 2,000 units. So that's sold in like about 4 weeks, I think it was. And then we got in a reorder. I didn't think I was going to get it in time for Q4, like the last week of December. We luckily got it. I think the December 2nd cutoff or whatever was like, for you to get stuff on. And after that, they can't guarantee that they'll have it stocked for December. So bump up to January. So we got lucky. It checked in. And then we ordered 2,500 units this time. And that sold out in like 2.5 weeks. So we got a taste of Q4 during that time, and we're just like, "Wow, this is ridiculous!" Like, this is like I've never experienced anything like this before, or whatever. And then from then on, we decided, you know what? We had a couple other ideas of other kits that we wanted to put together, and then that's what we decided to build our brand around. So yeah.
That's perfect, man. That's absolutely beautiful. I think it's so important to build a brand and think about, like, what is a brand? A brand is really just a set of products for one specific customer. In your case, it's for the parents. That's amazing. So talk to us a little bit about, in terms of launching the product, I assume you kind of did the same thing. You got 5 reviews and then you did PPC, and that's.
Yeah, correct. I mean, back then we had like the early reviewer program as well, but I guess now we don't. We only have the Vine program. And I've never done the Vine program just because I know how critical it can be sometimes or whatever. So I guess it's just depending on the product or whatever. So yeah.
How much of a key factor was it for you to differentiate your product, like your product offering? Do you feel like that probably contributed to most of your success, or would you say like your launch strategy or like whatever?
I think they all play a component, to be honest with you. But like I agree with like one of the things that you also said, like the product offering is great, but you also have to have a good quality product too. But like at the same time, like I advise like new sellers, really invest in your listing. So your photos, your infographics, your copywriting, that's all very important. Like you don't want to fork out like thousands and thousands of dollars, you know what I mean, in inventory and all these things that you're doing, and just like, take a shortcut on that aspect of the business. I think that played a major role, just because it developed like brand awareness, and like people were like, okay, we differentiated a lot compared to like our competitor listings, and our listing was top notch. So I made sure that it's always optimized and had really great photos. I think that played a huge factor and contribution into the sales. So yeah.
Yeah, because it's like perceived value, right? Like when someone goes on Amazon, they can't like touch your product, they can't feel your product. Like they can only go off of like the reviews and the photos. And if your photos are like taken on an iPhone, they're gonna be like, what is this cheap made in China crap? Like I'm not gonna buy this, right? So if they don't buy it, they ended up going with your competitor. Maybe they have a worse product, but they have better photos, they have better marketing. That's why I think it's so important for you to like your listing is literally like your storefront at a mall. Like, would you have like broken glasses and like a half hanging mannequin like with like stains on the t-shirt? Like, no one's gonna ever walk into a store. Like, people are gonna walk into the store if you have, you know, no fingerprints on the glass, your all the displays look really nice. Think of your listing as like the front of a shopping center. So no, that's super cool. So so that one product did 200K per month?
No, there's a total of 6 SKUs. So like that
Okay.
so total of 6 SKUs but that one product, there's a good chunk of it. We ended up, so after we launched that or whatever, and after the Christmas holidays, we ended up launching another 5 SKUs, which is like another 5 products or whatever on that account. And they all contribute to it or whatever. But I have two
Got it.
main products that pretty much take up like maybe 50% of the revenue, and then the rest of the 4 just launched. So yeah.
Got it. Got it. Cool. So, what are some of your challenges right now? I can speak from personal experience. Like one of the challenges that we had was always keeping in stock. That's always a challenge. Cash flow is a little bit of a challenge, especially now you have to pay, and then it's like 3 months later you get your product. What are some of the challenges that you're facing right now with your business?
I mean, like supply chain was one of them or whatever. Uh, Obviously, rising costs and like shipping. Raw materials, I've been able to work out things with my supplier or whatever, where it's kind of like we developed that trust. It also helped me like find ways to like save on costs and giving me like 30-day payment terms, just because of like, you know, the relationship that I've built with them. And as far as like, I don't know if I told many of you guys this or whatever, because it's I keep it to myself or whatever, but like with like, you know, everything going on with the whole supply chain going on right now and shipping costs going up, I've been able to find a way to pretty much bring all my goods, because I'm based here in Canada, Surrey, BC. I actually have all like 60% of my inventory is stored here in Vancouver. 40% of it's in the US. And from Vancouver, I'm able to sell and replenish on Amazon Canada. I found a method to bring it across the US with my carrier. They bring it back to their Blaine warehouse there or whatever, where UPS just comes and picks it up and takes it into UPS. And yeah, I store everything at a storage unit here or whatever, and I work out of that storage unit. And it definitely saved my business, because one of my main products, Tom, that has the China trade war tax. So it's like 25%, right? So you imagine you have a 25% tax, and then you got your duty, which is like 7%. Sometimes my duties and taxes cost more than my actual shipping. So just
Oh,
because,
wow.
so for me, just because I've worked in the logistics industry, I developed connections with a lot of freight forwarders. I was able to like work out the numbers or whatever, and bringing it to Canada and like just replenishing it this way pretty much saved my business. Because if I had gone the other route, found a 3PL in the US or whatever, my margins were slim. Like they were like maybe in the 10-15% range. And I mean, you're doing so much work, and you know, 10-15%, you know, wasn't going to cut it for me. So I had to get creative and find ways to kind of bring the cost down, and I was able to do that or whatever. So yeah.
So is it because if we ship it to Canada, the storage is cheaper and you save money there, and then the tariff, the tax and duties is
Yeah, so like for Canada, for me or whatever, there's no trade war tax, so that 25% is gone. You know what I
right.
mean? On top of that, with my freight forwarders that I work with or whatever, shipping costs or whatever was actually cheaper than me shipping it to the US.
Got
And on
it.
top of that, when I did the math or whatever, for me like getting my carrier to bring it across the border and getting UPS to deliver it to Amazon, it was actually a lot less. So like, and you know, 3PLs, like because I've been in the business for so long or whatever, I crunch these numbers a lot or whatever. And it's just like bringing it here also allowed me to mitigate my risk in a sense where I can do Amazon Canada, I can replenish Canada, I can replenish USA. and I could sell on Etsy. And then later on, if I wanted to say do my own Shopify store or something, which is direct to consumer order, I can self fulfill those orders as well. So it kind of allowed me to like, instead of like just shipping into the US, all of my inventory stuck there or whatever, you know what I mean? And then working on lower margins, I did it this way, and it ended up pretty much saving my business because like we have great margins now, you know what I mean? So
Are you able to share your freight forwarder info with the class, or?
yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Do you want to maybe post it in the Facebook group after?
Yeah, for sure. I'll
Yeah.
share it in the Facebook graph after, because they're like
Yeah.
freight forwarders or whatever. So like, you know, they're not like your Forwarder One or like Iris where they give you per kilo rate. There are a lot of
Right.
their terms, but like I've already told them, I'm like, hey, you know what I mean? Like, if you're gonna quote or like make it easier for people to understand or whatever. So
Yeah.
it's also a company that I've worked with in the past or whatever. So that's why I've developed that relationship with them. So yeah.
Got it. No, it's super smart. Okay, super cool. So I guess maybe talk to us a little bit about your plan. I mean, it seems to me that the plan is to create a brand around toys. Do you have plans to? Are you doing any sort of external marketing at all right now? Like, or is this 100% on Amazon? Are you working with influencers, TikTok?
So that's another aspect of the business that we're probably going to get into this year. So my wife, she handles a lot of like the she runs it on TikTok. I run external ads such as like Google ads and stuff like that. But this is probably an side of the business that we want to focus and emphasize on this year or whatever. So influencers we're on Instagram as well or whatever. So and we want to work with like mom groups and like Facebook groups and stuff like that. So that's probably something that we're going to try to tackle this year or whatever. So yeah.
Yeah. No, I think there's a lot of like mommy influencers out there. Like there's a lot of them. Mary, who is, I'm not sure if she's on the call today, but she also has a brand of like baby bow ties. And she kind of like used influencer marketing a lot for her. Oh, Mary's here. Or yeah, she used a lot influencers. So my advice to you is don't try to do too much in terms of like Google ads here, Facebook ads here, Instagram ads here, TikTok ads here. It's too much, right? Like it's way too much. Like focus on one, and once you see it that one works, drop everything else and just double down on it. Now it might not be influencers, it might be Google ads for you, it might be mommy blogs for you. I don't know what it is, but it's super, super important for you to focus, like have a dead focus on one of them. Better to do one of them really well than like five of them semi decent. But I definitely think TikTok is the place to be. Like just the people that I talk to right now, like TikTok is the place to be. Like the reach, the cost per user, the cost per acquisition, the everything about it. It's the best. So I would really focus on TikTok. So is it you and your wife? Do you have any VAs and stuff like that right now or no?
So pretty much for us is pretty much it's kind of like almost a family-owned business or whatever. So me and my wife or whatever, she's the visionary. I'm the guy who executes everything. And then I have my sister who's kind of like my right-hand person, where she kind of helps me run the day-to-day operations. But just recently, just because we've launched some more SKUs or whatever, I've been looking into like outsourcing some of the jobs, just because it's starting to get a little bit too much. You know what I mean? Like I feel like there's certain areas of the business where I can focus and hone in to grow that aspect of the business, but some of the other parts of the business where I'm looking to like probably outsource or whatever, whether it's an agency or finding someone who understands that aspect of it and hire them. So yeah.
Yeah, totally. And what is the future plan? Like, are you planning to just keep growing this business? Are you planning to sell it like soon? Are you like, yeah, what is the kind of the next couple of years plan? I know your wife is the visionary, but
yeah, for sure. I'm the executor. Or whatever. She just tells me what she wants to do, and I'm the one who makes it all happen. So I pretty much do everything. So on the back end, but the goal for us, to be honest with you, is to grow the brand. We're growing the brand to exit in 2 years. This year, we're gonna really focus on building the direct-to-consumer Shopify space or whatever. So. That's that. And yeah, I mean, like, we want to see where we can take this order, because I feel like, honestly, we're just getting started. And I know like we had a great Q4 season, but I mean, there's still a lot more work to be done, you know?
Yeah. Q4 is huge for toys, right? That's a massive, yeah. Cool. Any advice for the students? I mean, there's 216 people watching right now, and some of them are probably like just like oh my God, I want to do 200K a month. What are some tips? What are some things that maybe you wish you knew earlier? What are some things that you can tell the younger David back in 2017? Maybe just give him a good slap in the head, be like, start Amazon now.
Oh man, like I have a lot. I mean, where was it here? I had it somewhere here. I know I wrote it down, but I mean, like if it's one thing that I would pretty much tell a lot of the new sellers into this group or whatever, is take it a step by step at a time. Or don't overwhelm yourself too much. Keep going, keep learning. Other sellers in this group, like if you guys are stuck somewhere, don't be afraid to ask. There's no such thing as a stupid question. Just ask the question or whatever. And I mean, like if you're not getting an answer or whatever, reach out to some of the sellers, because when I first started this journey, like I think I already made a post about it, but I reached out to everyone, like all the sellers who came before me or whatever. I reached out to them, asking them like, hey, like I just started my journey. Any tips or recommendations, any advice that you guys would be able to give me? Like, and just share kind of like my aspect. And they were so nice to like reach out to me or whatever, give me tips and advice. So that's why, like I am where I am today, just because like a lot of the stuff that I learned was through them. So sometimes now when I have like other sellers like in the group reach out to me or whatever, like I try to pay it forward as much as possible. You know what I mean?
Uh-oh. You're gonna regret saying that, because all 215 people are gonna, oh sweet, I'm gonna take David up on his offer. Message.
Like I might not get back to you like right away, but like genuinely, to be honest with you, like if you're really, really stuck on something or whatever, and I feel like I could bring in value and help you out in any way, like feel free to reach out, man. Like if I can help in any way that I can't guarantee that I'll always be able to help, but
Yeah,
that's where I am aware, because I want to pay it forward as much as possible, right? And that's one of the main reasons why I wanted to make the post, not to show off or anything like that, but really pay it forward and say that, hey, you know what I mean? Like this journey is hard. It's not easy. You know what I mean? But you can do it. You know what I mean? Just keep trekking away or whatever. Keep adapting, learning, because like Amazon's ecosystem is always changing. Like when I first started to like now, I can't tell you how many times like we've run into roadblocks and like changes and all that stuff. But like you really just gotta learn how to adapt and just like, we'll pass it or whatever. And just if you can do that or whatever, and then I think you'll be able to do well. So yeah.
Yeah, no, that's awesome, man. That's awesome. Well, can everybody give a round of applause for David? I mean, people are super happy that. Did you guys get a lot of value from this interview? Put your thumbs up if you got a lot of value from this interview. Awesome. No, that's great. Everybody's absolutely loving it. So yeah, David, again, thank you so much. I mean, I'm personally very excited for you. I think if you have an exit, if you have a plan to exit, actually, I'm gonna hit you up after, because one of my friends who, John from Be Lived, he was on the podcast. Yeah, he sold his brand for like $18 million. Yeah. He's actually starting like a little incubator of like incubating brand. And I love for you guys to connect, because there might be some synergy. Like he's building like a in-house team, because what he wants to do is he wants to start new brands, and he wants to partner up with brands to like do the stuff that he's really good at, which is everything. And for you guys to have that goal of like exiting in a couple of years. And yeah, anyways, I mean, I can happy to put you guys together, and if there's synergy, great. If there's no synergy, at least, you got to meet someone cool. So, cool. Any last words?
Yeah, I mean, like, I just want to say thanks to everybody. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know if I said this already, but I encourage, like one of the things that really helped me on the journey, and I didn't say it before or whatever, was for a lot of the sellers in the group, just actually meet up, see if you can actually link up with other sellers and kind of create your own little mastermind tribe, because that really helped me out. Because like realistically,
you're gonna get 200 more messages now asking to meet up for coffee.
No.
Just kidding.
But like, yeah, because that really helped me out, because honestly, this journey is so lonely. So that if you can meet up like once a month or once a week with like other sellers or whatever on Zoom or something like that, hold yourself accountable, share tactics, tips and ideas. That's really going to help you excel your business, because that's what it did for me.
Yeah.
And yeah.
I'm gonna see if I can create some sort of accountability groups. So maybe what I can do with you guys is that I'm gonna send. Give me a few weeks to set this up. But maybe what I can do, top of my head, is if you are interested in accountability group, you're gonna fill out a survey with where you're at with your Amazon business, which city you're at, and then you can actually like partner up with people in different cities, and you guys can do your own thing, like meet up and whatever. So see, there's people from everywhere: Wisconsin, Toronto, Texas, Vancouver. Obviously, there's a bunch. Toronto, Atlanta. Anybody in Denver, by the way? Anybody who lives in Denver? Oh, someone lives in Denver. We got me. Yeah, it's cold here, but cool, awesome, guys. So I'll get that done, and hopefully you guys can do a little bit of you guys can do meetups. Yeah, LA. There's a bunch of people from LA, Ottawa, Toronto. A bunch of people from Toronto. Yeah, get to know everybody. Calgary. Cool, guys. Anyways, I'll let you go, David. Thanks for your time. I really appreciate it. Thanks for everybody for hopping on the call. And yeah, I'm excited for you, man. And yeah, thanks for everybody for hopping on the call. I really appreciate that as well. And I think today was such a great call, such good energy. And again, I love the fact that you paid it forward. And I hope that the next person who receives value from you one day can pay it forward as well. So there's a lot of good takeaways. Rewatch this if you need to. But yeah, thank you all so much. Great to see everybody. And I'll see you guys next week.